What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits. Rethink your limits.
This is the OPS pregame report.
Welcome live to the new Spartan Arena for the very first time on this cold, snowy afternoon in southwest Fort Wayne as the Homestead Spartans are set to host the Wayne Generals. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Noah Johanningsmeier, being joined alongside Noah Lancz and sideline reporter Braxton Hall as we are now just moments away from this game, and the anticipation for this one has certainly been building for a while, as this is going to be the first matchup in the brand new gymnasium Spartan Arena.
It is so great to finally be here. You look around, and it's just so great to see these people here at this game, a very new-looking team for the Spartans in their new gym.
And all you have to do is look around at this place to see what an absolute gym it is and how the people of Southwest Fort Wayne are going to benefit from having it. And Noah, it's been long overdue for Homestead High School to get a new gymnasium, and now that it's here, it's an exciting time for everyone associated with the high school.
And you see it seats over 3,000 people, just a huge gym. We have a one-of-a-kind media row up here, 7 video boards in the arena, and then at the top you got some field house windows, a very modern look to this gym, and it is so nice to finally be in here.
It is very nice to be in this brand new gymnasium here. And for this Ladies Spartan squad, not only does the new gymnasium make the start of a new era, they are also without last year's Indiana Miss Basketball, Ayanna Patterson, who was the dominant force for the squad each of the previous last 4 seasons.
It's been a very different look to this team with Ayanna Patterson. She completely dominated offensively, defensively. The Spartans just fed her all the time, but without her, it's been much more of a team look. A lot of different players scoring and stepping up, and I mean, obviously, you look at all of her records, it's really something hard to replace, but they're doing it through multiple players.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard to try and replace Ayanna Patterson, but the post-Patterson era has certainly started off as a success for the Spartans with a 2-0 start this year. With no surprise, it has been seniors Allie Stevens and Molly Stock leading the effort so far, but it is the emerging freshmen and Maya Epps, Whitney Aikenbrook, and Gabby Helsom that create the idea that the sky is the limit for this squad this season.
The future is definitely bright for the Spartans with those 3 freshmen on this varsity roster right now. Allie Stevens currently leading the team with 16 points per game after leading the team after being second in points per game a year ago. And then right behind Allie Stevens is one of those freshmen, Maya Epps, with 14 points per game. She's been so good. You see, she led the team last game in points and also had 5 steals. This Spartans team has looked really solid to start the season.
Yeah, they have had a great season so far. Forced 27 turnovers and 15 steals last game when they faced a great Northridge team, able to get the win on the road on that weeknight game. And as for the Wayne Generals, they've had a little bit of a rocky start to the season as they sit at 0-1 or 0-2, but they do return most of their roster from last season, including 2 double-digit scores in Anaya Hill and Amelia Diaz.
And a really close one there against Leo, only lost by 1 in that game. They had a chance to win it, but weren't able to pull it off. But you see these returning players, they're going to have to step up here today.
And now we're going to be sending it down to sideline reporter Braxton Hall, who is down with Coach Rod Parker.
Thanks, Noah. I'm here with Spartans head coach Rod Parker. And Coach, this is the first home game of the season, the first game in this new arena. What can Spartans fans look forward to seeing this season?
Well, number one, what a beautiful place. We're very excited to be in this arena. But number two, this is going to hopefully be an up-tempo type team. It's going to get up and down the floor. We're a little guard heavy this year compared to years past, but I think it'll be a fun team to watch.
Thanks, Coach, and good luck today. Noah, back to you.
Thank you, Braxton. And it certainly is a new-look Spartans and a new-look gymnasium. It's going to be exciting to watch this team ball out all season long.
It is, and you talked about that tempo that leads with those turnovers that they force. They get up and down the court very well. As he also mentioned, a smaller roster this year. Obviously, they don't have Ayanna Patterson, but also don't have Maggie Kinsley, who was one of their taller players from a year ago. So these guards have really gone to spreading out the offense and shot a lot of threes.
And now we're going to be sending it to a quick break, but we will be back with Homestead versus Wayne after these short messages.
Touchdown, Homestead! Three dribbles in, mid-range jumper up. He got it! Zach Kruger hit the shot.
Marco's Pizza, located at 10345 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco specializes in pizza, subs, and more. Order online at marcos.com or by phone at 625-6800. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the .91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead Media's athletics coverage.
To get you home.
Ooh, I'm gonna eat you up when you go home. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait. I'm just gonna bite you.
Oh baby, that looks amazing. Marcos, pizza lovers get it.
You don't plan on getting an injury, so why should you plan ahead to care for one? At Orthostat, you don't have to. Whether you get hurt on the job or on the field, or if you're experiencing sudden, localized pain, we fix the unexpected. Our walk-in clinics provide emergency access to a full range of diagnostic, non-surgical, and surgical treatments. And the best part is there's never an appointment or referral needed. So you can get in, get out, and get going. Orthostat is recognized by Anthem and other insurance plans as an alternative to the ER.
And now welcome back to Spartan Arena, as we are now just moments away from tip-off between the Homestead Spartans and Wayne Generals. And now we're going to be giving you the starting lineups for each of these squads as they are currently being announced here in the arena. Starting with the Homestead Spartans, you see Emma Royce, Maya Epps, Evie Bottoms, Molly Stock, and Allie Stevens.
And this team has a new look from a year ago. They're returning three starters, Stock, Stevens, and Royce, but Maya Epps and Evie Bottoms stepping in to a much bigger role than a year ago, and they've done pretty well so far.
And then for the Wayne Generals, you see Sydney Gorman, Anaya Hill, Amelia Diaz, and then actually at the 4 there, it's going to be number 4, Tania Harrison, and then number 55, Khalees Collins, rounds out that starting lineup.
And we talked about it before. This team has some returning players from a year ago, 2 of them double-digit scorers from a year ago, so definitely have some experience on their side, and they're going to look to use that to their advantage.
They are definitely ready to go and compete here tonight. And Noah, now just moments away from tip-off in this one. What are going to be your keys to the game for each of these squads?
For Wayne, they need to get off to a fast start because you know the Spartans can score quickly. So you got to be able to keep up with the Spartans and then also force the Spartans inside. This is a smaller team. They don't have a main paint presence for the Spartans, so they like to shoot a lot of threes. And then for Homestead, keep on forcing those turnovers, averaging 23 turnovers a game. They're able to score off those turnovers, run up and down the court easily. Then this is your first time in the new gym. Just get relaxed, get comfortable in here, and just play a good game in the first time here.
Yeah, the Spartans, a concern for them is definitely all season long going to be rebounding. When you lose that presence of Ayanna Patterson, just trying to find the ability to get those boards and not allow second chance opportunities for the Generals here tonight and just all season long.
100%. Patterson averaged a double-double a year ago, so definitely a big void to fill.
And for the tip for the Generals is going to be Tania Harrison. And for the Spartans, it's going to be Allie Stevens. The game officials here today are Bill Forehand, John Pfeiffer, and Charles Smith. As the tip is up and underway in the first game in Spartan Arena. Collins right away attacks the basket, puts up a shot, but a travel called before the shot there. Spartans right away get a turnover and now have possession. Freshman guard takes it across the timeline there. So that's going to be Bottoms on the left wing, guarded tightly by Collins. Now Stock, a great shooter, puts up a three. That one's long. And a nice offensive rebound for the Spartans. Now it's going to be Epps putting up a shot. No good. And that's Royce bringing in the rebound. Already 2 offensive rebounds here for the Spartans as it goes back out to Epps. She's driving inside, puts up a nice attack to the basket, draws the foul. We've seen that a lot from her already this season as a freshman guard, attacking the basket and drawing those fouls.
She's by far the most aggressive player on this team. She's not afraid of the contact. And like you mentioned, she's been able to get to the line a lot so far this year, so that's something that she loves to attack, not scared of the defense. And then also we saw her bringing up the ball a year ago as Molly Stock, who usually brought up the ball, so a new player bringing it up the court for the Spartans.
And Epps is able to just get one of those free throws as Collins is going to bring in the rebound and end that possession for Spartans. As it's going to be Hill there for the Generals. Gives it right side over to Diaz, who was the leading scorer for the Generals last season, as Harrison tries to put up a shot, and once again a traveling violation called for the Generals. 2 possessions into the game, 2 traveling violations already.
We talked about it earlier. The Spartan team is very good at forcing turnovers and already got 2 of them in the first 2 possessions.
So now it's going to be Stock there for the Spartans on that right side. Gets a screen from Stevens. Now Epps, a wide open three-pointer, rolls out. No good. Rebound brought in by Hill of the Generals. She's going to cross the timeline, give it down low to Collins. A post presence for this Generals team. Gets a double team. Puts up the shot anyways and gets it to drop. Nice job there by Collins. Even with the pressure, gets it to go. Now across the timeline, Bottoms puts up a three-pointer. No good for the Spartans. Another offensive rebound, though, for this Spartan squad.
Royce has been everywhere on the offensive side. Already 3 offensive rebounds forward, getting a lot of extra opportunities for the Spartans, but they need to capitalize on them.
Another open 3 for Epps. This time it drops. Epps with the first 4 points of the game for the Homestead Spartans now with that triple. As Hill's going to have it, top of the key, and yet another traveling violation. Those unforced errors are stuff the Generals cannot afford to have right now against this great Spartan squad.
That's something they're going to need to clean up. They did well on the first few defensive possessions. That last one, Epps was finally able to knock down a 3, 1 for 3 so far, but they cannot keep on leaving the Spartans open.
Now Stock's going to throw it down low to Stevens, posting up, trying to establish a post presence. Can't get that one to go, though, as Diaz is going to bring in the rebound for the Generals. Attacking. Kicks it out to the left side to Gorman, a three-pointer, no good. The long rebound goes out of bounds untouched, and Spartans will get back the ball.
Well, with Collins coming out, they definitely lose their big player on the court there. She was able to score in the paint on the last one. Now they're going to rely more on shooting the ball for the Generals.
Now Stock has it. Drives inside, puts up a nice scoop layup, but cannot get it to go. Just rolled all around the rim. Now over to Stevens. She's fouled hard on that shot attempt and will shoot 2 free throws. Already the second time the Spartans sent to the line here, just a couple minutes into this game.
And once again, Emma Royce attacking the boards, a 4th offensive rebound in this one. And then Stevens also attacking as she knocks down the first one. But Stevens, she's much better outside instead of in that post presence. She can shoot the ball well, so if they can get her out in space, you better watch out.
Yeah, Stevens is definitely a great stretch big here for the Spartans this season. As Hill is going to be attacking the basket, loses the ball. Great defensive effort there by Bottoms, as Royce is going to end up with it. Now Bottoms has it, gives it over to Stock that drives inside. Now Royce to put up a 3-pointer. That one's long. Rebound brought in by Hill. She's guarded by Bottoms. Hands it off over there to Diaz. Drives in on Epps. Now going to give it over to Harrison. Generals just taking their time on this possession, trying to slow it down. Avoid those unforced errors. As Gorman's going to be guarded by Royce there. Gives down low to Harrison. Guarded by Stock, puts up a layup. That one's no good. A rebound fought for. And that's going to be a jump ball. A great effort there from Harrison and Stevens. Possession's going to favor the Spartans.
That's definitely what you want to see if you're Coach Gorman for the Generals, having your players get in there, be aggressive, going for the boards. And now it looks like Diaz is going to, now she steps back, but before she was going to bring some pressure. We've seen the Spartans, especially last year, struggle with pressure. Carmel brought some pressure in that first game, so maybe something to watch out for.
Now a Stock 3-pointer won't go. Rebound brought in by Stevens, and she's fouled. And yet another trip to the charity stripe for the Spartans. Second time Stevens going to be going here already.
The Generals need to find a way to crash the boards. They're not boxing out on that side. And that's the 5th offensive rebound already for the Spartans as a team.
And now Stevens' first free throw is going to be good. She's now 3 for 3 from the charity stripe on the night. The other 4 points so far have came from the freshman guard Maya Epps. As Stevens knocks in the second free throw as well. As that's going to send her to the bench, Sanaya Sandlin comes in for her.
We also see 2 of those freshmen, the other 2 other than Maya Epps on this varsity roster, Whitney Inkenbrook and Gabby Helsum check in. So the younger lineup in now.
And now Royce with an aggressive attempt steals it, goes in transition, can't get it to go, but yet another offensive rebound. A Sandlin jump shot splash from Sanaya Sandlin. Spartans up early, 10-2, with 4 minutes left in this first quarter. And now welcome back to Spartan Arena as the Spartans lead 10-2 over the Generals here halfway through this first quarter. As Diaz is going to drive inside, put up a floater, and she's fouled on that attempt. First trip to the free throw line now for the Wayne Generals so far on the night.
That's where they need to get these Spartans into foul trouble. Problem is the Spartans have a lot more depth than a year ago, so even if they get into foul trouble, it won't be as much as a problem this year.
Yeah, this is a very deep Spartan squad, as each free throw will drop for Amelia Diaz, who shot 73% from the charity stripe last season. As Epps is going to be pressured full court, easily gets it across the timeline though. Now Ankenbrook over on the left side, and now Epps with a jab step. Spartans with a pretty young lineup out here right now, 3 freshmen and 2 juniors.
And with that, there is some confusion. They kind of got jumbled up over on that left side. A lot of players running to the same space, but now they're trying to get a little more organized here.
Yeah, they're taking their time, running their offense for sure. And now Coach Parker is going to be calling a timeout here as the Homestead Spartans just kind of look to be struggling a little bit to get any open looks on that possession.
Yeah, you mentioned it, that it was a younger lineup in there, the oldest player being a junior in Emma Royce. The rest all underclassmen, and they're just kind of running in circles there for a little bit. You see they had a lot of three-point shooters out there. They've struggled in this one, shooting from 3, 1 for 7 right now. Epps the only one able to knock one down, and that was after 2 other wide-open attempts that she couldn't knock down. So this team definitely just trying to get their rhythm right now.
Yeah, half of the Spartans' points actually have so far came from the charity stripe, as they're 5 for 6 from the free throw line so far tonight, or this afternoon. As Helsum is going to be inbounding here for the Spartans. Epps over right side to Royce. Still the same lineup out here for Homestead, as Ankenbrook has it top of the key. Now down low to Sandlin, posting up, gets the double team, and that is going to be a jump ball as Diaz came in there and held it with Sandlin, so the Generals will take back possession.
Great defensive play there by Diaz to go and force the double team and then eventually get the ball back for her team. But if she wasn't able to get there, Sandlin could have passed it back out to Epps for another open 3.
Now Hill gives it over to Diaz. Now down low, Collins puts up a hook shot, and that's actually O'Quinn down there, and then Helsum gets the rebound for the Spartans. Now over to Royce, drives inside, a nice floater, just cannot get that one to drop though, as it's rebounded by Tania Hill, or Harrison, who's now across the timeline, gives it down low to O'Quinn, posting up on Sandlin, puts up a shot, and she's fouled on that attempt. General's going to be sent to the charity stripe once again. And even with a slow start, they're still not that far out of reach in this one, just down by 6 points.
They've done really well to be aggressive so far, especially with the younger lineup in for Spartans. They've been more and more aggressive, getting to the charity stripe now for a second time. And we'll see if Coach Parker brings in his seniors at all.
And O'Quinn missed that first free throw attempt. So General's still trailing by 6 here. Second free throw, no good as well. That's going to be Brooklyn Freem bringing in the rebound. It's Claire Landgren now going to push the pace. Give it to Ankenbrook in the corner. Now Brooklyn Freem drives inside. Out to Landgren on that right side. Back out to Freem, a catch and shoot 3, and she knocks that one down. 13-4, second three-pointer of the night now for the Homestead Spartans.
And she is just a sophomore. A lot of young shooters on this team. Coach Parker definitely looking to get them some more experience in this one.
Now Hill puts up a three-pointer, tries to answer, no good. Rebound brought in by Sandlin of the Spartans. Now Helsum over on that right wing. Angling in, puts up a reverse layup, cannot get it to go. Rebound brought in by O'Quinn. Now Anaya Hill with it for the Generals, trailing by 9. Generals in need of some points here. As Tanny Harrison loses the ball, stripped away by the Spartans. Brooklyn Freem now with it, gives it over to Helsum, driving inside, puts up that layup and drops it in. 15-4, Spartans lead.
Nice job there by Helsum to attack the paint after she missed it on the one before, not being discouraged as a freshman on missing your first layup attempt and able to get the second one to go.
Now Hill with a nice pass. That one ends up tipped out to Gorman. Now over to Tania Harrison. Down low, and that's going to be a traveling violation called. We've seen a lot of those so far in this first quarter on the Wayne Generals. They seem to be unforced errors.
Yeah, that's their 6th turnover already in this first quarter. You know, the Spartans have forced 23 a game, and they're right on pace for that once again.
Now we have under a minute left in this first quarter. Homestead just dominating so far as Helsum has it there, top of the key. Over to Landrigan, and she's going to be called for a travel. We've seen a whole lot of those here tonight. Yet another one right there. As Sydney Freeme's going to be checking in for the Homestead Spartans, Sanaya Sandlin's going to go sit on the bench for now. As Sydney Gorman's going to be the inbounder here for the Generals. Hill brings it up for the Generals. Over to Diaz. Diaz finds an open spot, puts up a 3 and cashes that one home. Diaz just easily getting an open shot there. Leading scorer for the Generals last season. Cuts it down to 8.
It was a great move to get open, faked, going over the screen, and was able to get wide open there.
Ankenbrook now being pressured by Diaz, picked up her dribble, still has it, and then gives it over to Landrigan. Dribbles herself into trouble, and then a foul is called. That foul kind of saved the Spartans there, as there was some chaos going on that possession. Spartans now to inbound.
There was a lot going on, and it was Diaz who was creating all of that chaos there for the Spartans, once again being very active on the defensive side.
Now just seconds left in the first quarter. Landrigan drives inside, gives it over to Freeman. That ball just sails out of bounds as the buzzer sounds, and that will bring us to the end of the first quarter, as we are now going to be taking a quick break, but be right back after these short messages.
Touchdown, Homestead! Dribbles in, mid-range jumper up. He got it! Zach Kruger hit the shot.
And welcome back to Spartan Arena, as the Spartans lead 15-7 over the Generals after one. We are now going to send it down to sideline reporter Braxton Hall.
And the Spartans currently have an 8-point lead at the end of the first quarter. This is more than just a game for these Homestead Spartans. It is a symbol of years of hard work to get this arena finished. A lot of money has gone into this, a lot of time, a lot of hard work, and this gym has finally been completed with 6 LED screens, as well as a completely electronic scorer's table. It's been a long wait, but it has definitely been worth it, and it's the Spartans' home for years to come.
And thank you, Braxton. And it certainly has been a long wait, and it has certainly been worth it just looking at this great new arena for the Homestead Spartans. As Stevens going to have it for the Spartans there. Now right side over to Royce. Stevens posting up, puts up a shot, and she's fouled once again. Yet another trip to the charity stripe for Allie Stevens.
She's done a really good job of being aggressive. This is her 3rd time now going to the line in this one, and you see most of the starters back out there, everyone but Emma Royce, as Sid Freeman is in there instead of Royce. But you just see the experience of these players, especially when Stevens is in there. She knows to attack the paint against this Generals team.
Stevens' first free throw, no good. Second one goes in. 1 for 2 that time, 5 for 6 on the night, or the afternoon, as the Spartans are going to apply a bit of a full court press here, as Diaz is going to drive inside, put up a floater, and banks that one in. What an attack there by Diaz to start off this second quarter. Stock now pressured on that left wing, gives it up to Epps. Now Bottoms, top of the key. Back to Epps, now Stock with a pump fake. Gives it over to Stevens, right side, driving inside, puts up a layup, and that one drops in. Spartans are dominating so far in this ball game, doubling up the Generals now as they apply a pressure here. Double teaming Hill, and the ball's tipped out of bounds by the Spartans. Generals will keep it.
Something new here for the Spartans, just trying it out against the Generals right now. So far, it's worked pretty well, other than that Diaz floater. That was a great shot.
Diaz with another floater. That time it doesn't work so well, hitting the top of the backboard, which is out of bounds. So the Spartans will get back possession.
Now we'll see how Epps will run this offense here for the Spartans. That last time out, they were able to find Stevens down low, place they've gone a lot.
Now Epps with a strong attack of the basket, just cannot get it to drop though, as Collins brings in the rebound for the Generals. Now Gorman with it at the Sparty logo. Gives it over to Collins as she is fouled. A blocking foul there on Sid Freem.
Spartans going back to man now. They're just trying that zone there for a few plays. It worked pretty well, though, but now trying to reestablish their man-to-man.
And that was the third team foul on the Spartans. Not quite near the bonus yet, as Hill has it top of the key for the Generals. Gives it over to Gorman on that right side, driving in on Stock. Now back out to Tania Harrison. Gorman once again with it, pressured by Stock. Spartans in a bit of a zone defense here, as Diaz has it, just milking the clock here. Generals taking a while on this possession, dribbling it back and forth, as Gorman now has it.
Stock has done a really good job of locking up Gorman and started possession there with Gorman as well.
What a move by Hill there, but just could not get it to go. Offensive rebound by Collins as she put it back up, and she is fouled, so she will shoot 2 free throws for the Generals.
The spin move there to get past Evie Bottoms forced Sid Freem to switch over, and then Collins was able to get that offensive board, and she gets rewarded with it by going to the line here.
Collins able to make that first free throw attempt. Gets the Generals up to double digits now, and the lead cut down to 8. Second free throw, no good. Great rebound there by Royce. Now Stock pressured on the right sideline. Now Bottoms on the far sideline. Now a good pass over there to Royce. Now Stock has it right side. Spartans just taking their time, trying to find an open look as that ball just a tip pass and then off of Stevens, out of bounds. A turnover there for the Homestead Spartans.
That look on the offensive side was what we expected more of to see for the Spartans this year. A lot of players just moving around, cutting in their offense with more of a 5-out look. Stevens was closer to the paint, but obviously she's been trying to step up as that paint presence.
And Hill was double teamed there, so Coach Gorman of the Generals is going to call a timeout, and we will be taking a short break, but be back with more Wayne Homestead.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
And now welcome back to Spartan Arena, as the Homestead Spartans are currently leading over the Wayne Generals 18-10 with 5 minutes left in the second quarter. So far the Spartans have played pretty well, and the Generals offensively, they've had a lot of struggles with some turnovers.
It's been Collins and Diaz, the only two people for the Generals who have scored. Diaz has looked really solid, hit a three-pointer, a floater. She's been their main offensive player, and then on the other side it's been Allie Stevens mainly.
And now the Generals on the offensive end as O'Quinn puts up a putback and gets it to go. Cuts the lead now down to 6 here. Generals staying in this one as Stevens gets a wide open look at the rim and easily drops that in off the glass. Lead back up to 8 right away. Spartans now applying this full court press as Diaz gives it down low over to O'Quinn, and now over to Harrison, who cannot get a layup to fall. Rebound there by Royce as she's going to push the pace out to Epps for a three-pointer, no good. Now Stevens, a mid-range jump shot. That's no good as well, but another fight for the offensive rebound as that one's going to go off of the Generals. Emma Royce on the offensive glass has been a key impact so far here for the Spartans.
She's got 7 rebounds already, getting so many extra opportunities for the Spartans.
And now Harrison jumps that pass and is going to almost get the steal, but her feet are out of bounds as she touches that ball, so it is going to be Spartans' ball.
Harrison just showing way more aggression than Stock. Stock did not show any effort trying to get that, and Harrison diving out for it.
Now Epps is going to be taking the inbound for the Spartans. Over to Stock on that left side. Now over to Epps as the Spartans showing a motion offense, just consistent movement as Stock finds herself with a little bit of room, and that's all she needs for that three. An 11-point Spartan lead now as Royce jumps that pass, almost gets the steal, but Hill gets it back for the Generals. Finally across the timeline as Gorman now has it. Now over to O'Quinn, who puts up a layup and gets that one to drop in off the glass. Lead right back down to single digits. Just 9 here. As Royce has it down low for the Spartans. Stock with a little bit of breathing room for that three, puts it up. And then another offensive rebound as Stevens puts it right back up and in. Spartans have had so many second chance opportunities so far here this afternoon, and it has really been costing the Generals as they're going to be applying this full court pressure once again. Gorman finds a little bit of breathing room on that three-point attempt, no good. Rebound brought in by O'Quinn. She puts it right back up, and the Spartans take control with the rebound by Bottoms. Now Royce gives it over to Epps on the right side, who attacks the basket strong and scores for the Spartans.
Epps up to 6 points now after Stevens got into double digits, the first one to get into double digits. It's been those two mainly, but you got to think, where would this game be if both these teams could box out? Both of them have been able to get a lot of second chance opportunities.
And look at that three from Stock as she just got a little bit of open space there and cashed that one in. And second chance opportunities have certainly been a key storyline in this ball game so far for Homestead, as the Generals just seemingly cannot control that defensive glass, and they need to get back in this one, as a dangerous pass is stolen away by the Homestead Spartans. Ankenbrook has it there as Adams now will cross the timeline. Now out to Bottoms, and that's going to be Helsum for a three-pointer, and the freshman gets the triple to fall. Spartans on a bit of a roll now, up by 16. As Gorman's going to have it top of the key for the Generals. Now over to Diaz on the right side, pressured by Adams. And now it's going to be Tanny Harrison driving inside, and a foul will be called. This one appeared to be on the floor, and it is going to be on the floor, as it's going to be the 5th team foul on the Spartans.
But you saw there on that replay, Helsum having no hesitation to shoot. All any of these players for Spartans need is just a few inches of separation, and they're going to pull the trigger.
Now Diaz has it right side. Gives it over to Hill in the corner. Guarded by Helsum. Throws it down low. The ball's tipped. And a fight for it between Collins and multiple Spartans, and a jump ball will be called. Possession arrow favoring the Generals as they will keep possession. As Mariah Luna will be checking in for Anaya Hill here for the Generals. Gorman's going to be the inbounder. Sends it in out to Diaz. Diaz pulls up for a three. No good. Rebound brought in by Adams of the Spartans. Now Bottoms across the timeline, gives it to Royce. Angling in towards the basket. Puts up a layup, and she's fouled by Diaz. 6-team foul there for the Generals. Now each of these teams with 6 fouls. And yet again, the Homestead Spartans going to be shooting some free throws.
It's where they've really been able to take advantage of the Generals going to the line. When they've been drawing these fouls, they've been when they're shooting, so able to get a lot of looks now at the line.
Royce gets that first free throw to go in for the Spartans, as a second one drops as well. Spartans now up 18 as they have just been dominating these past couple of minutes here. Generals in need of some scoring here. as it's now going to be Tanny Harrison driving inside. Gives it over to Luna, puts up a floater. That one doesn't hit anything, but then the rebound tipped back in, ends up in the hands of the Spartans. Adams now pushing the pace, gives it down low to Brooklyn Freem. Now on the left side, Gabby Helsum wide open for three, no good. Rebound brought in by Freem, who puts it right back in. 20-point lead now for Homestead. Just controlling the game so far in so many aspects. Second chance points have certainly been a leading reason why.
Now on the defensive side, they're finally setting into that zone defense that they're bringing, some pressure that has really disrupted the offense for the Generals, and we haven't seen them score in a while now as the Spartans have gone on a run.
Yeah, the Generals have certainly been struggling with that aggressive Spartans defense. As Helsum, another three-point attempt. That one rolls all around the rim and does not fall. Rebound brought in by Diaz of the Generals. Now under a minute left in this second quarter. Diaz driving inside, and a blocking foul will be called, this time on Gabby Helsum. And that's going to be the 7th team foul on the Homestead Spartans, so Diaz will be shooting 1-1.
Helsum getting a little too aggressive there, as Diaz, a very quick player. She couldn't keep her in front of her, so just pushed her a little too much, and Diaz, a great shooter, able to get to the line.
And Diaz knocks down that first free throw attempt. And not the second one, 1 for 2 that time. Cuts the lead down to 19. Now Ankenbrook out to Landrigan. 40 seconds left now in the right corner. Ankenbrook for three. That one's short. Rebound brought in by Collins, who was fouled right away. So now Collins will be making the walk over to the free throw line to shoot a 1-1.
And this is how the Generals are going to claw their way back into this one. If they only 30 seconds left in this quarter, as you see a really good design play there to get an open three there for Ankenbrook, just not able to capitalize. But the Generals can claw their way back into this one if they can continue to get to the line.
Now Collins on the first free throw attempt, gets it to go. Cuts it down to now 18 for the Homestead Spartans lead. Collins' second free throw, no good. 1 for 2. Once again, the Generals at the charity stripe as Diaz knocks that one out of bounds with 30 seconds remaining in this first half. Homestead has just dominated these past couple of minutes, extending their lead as Landrigan gets it across the timeline. Now with Ankenbrook right side. Driving in, puts up a floater, and drops it in. Lead right back up to 20 for Homestead. Now just seconds remain in this first half. Diaz just walking it up across the timeline, looking for the shot. 5 seconds now. Diaz drives inside, kicks it over to Gorman. A step back three-pointer, no good for Sydney Gorman to end the first half as the Homestead Spartans lead 36-16 at the break, as we are now going to be sending it down to sideline reporter Braxton Hall, who's alongside Coach Rod Parker.
Thanks, Noah. And Coach, your team holds a 20-point lead at the half. How do you assess that first half performance?
Well, I'm happy that we're, obviously have a lead, but we got to be much sharper on offense than we were that half. We were very sluggish. We didn't push the ball very well. We missed some good scoring opportunities and kind of settled for a lot of threes. So the second half, we're going to be a little sharper. I think the ball movement's got to be better. And if so, then we might start getting the shots we want to take.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Noah, back to you.
Thank you, Braxton. And it certainly was a good first half performance for the Homestead Spartans, as we are now going to be sending it to a short break, but we will be back with our OPS halftime report.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
And now welcome back to Spartan Arena on the campus of Homestead High School as the Homestead Spartans lead over the Wayne Generals 36-16 at the break. And overall, Homestead really a bit of a sluggish start for both of these teams. And then in the second quarter, the Homestead Spartans really opened it up and just dominated.
They're finally able to find their rhythm in that second quarter and able to pull away from the Generals. Coach Parker would have liked to see that earlier from his team as they struggled in that first quarter, starting to find their rhythm more. Allie Stevens leading the team right now with 11 points, and she's been leading this team all year long in scoring, so definitely finding the rhythm so far.
And let's now take a look at the stats for each of these teams in the first half of play as the Homestead Spartans held a 20-point lead at the break, and they started off a little slow from the three-point line with a 1-for-7 start, but after that they were 3-for-8 and started to get some three-pointers going. And for the Wayne Generals, a 1-for-7 start from behind the arc.
Yeah, both teams have struggled from behind the arc so far in this one, and it's shocking to see Wayne do better so far overall, just in shooting and their field goals. They've percentage-wise have been better. They just haven't had as many opportunities, and that's why Spartans have been able to get out to a lead. A lot of those missed field goal attempts by the Spartans have been rebounded once again by the Spartans, getting a lot of second and third chance opportunities, and that's why they're out to this 20-point lead.
Yeah, you've been talking about it. The more shot attempts for the Spartans is really the reason why they have this lead, and those shot attempts have come from those offensive rebounds and the fact that the Wayne Generals have had 7 more turnovers than the Homestead Spartans so far in this one.
Yeah, in that first quarter, 6 turnovers for the Generals and 3 more forced there in that second quarter there by the Spartans, and that's where they've been able to capitalize. They went to that zone press defense there in the second quarter, trying out something new. It worked pretty well. They're able to disrupt the Generals' offense, and another one of those reasons why the Spartans were able to get out to their lead.
And now let's take a look at some scores around the SAC as we have a lot of games going on here today. This is the one in the afternoon, and then we see a lot of games in the afternoon or at night tonight with Belmont at Northside, Northrop at Concordia, Snyder at Bishop Dwenger, Southside at New Haven.
Definitely going to be interesting to see the Northrop and Snyder and how they do in those games. 2 of the other top teams in the SAC along with the Spartans here this year. Southside, they lose their best player from a year ago, Olivia Smith, so they're going to struggle probably just without her. She was their leading scorer, but Northrop still has the Jackson sisters, and the Snyder arguably has the best player in the SAC in Jordan Poole. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they do early in the SAC matchups.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to just watch these teams compete against each other in this early SAC action. And certainly it's going to be interesting to see how those top teams that you're mentioning in Northrop and Snyder do against teams that aren't really expected to have such great seasons like Snyder and Northrop with just the talent that those rosters have. And now let's take a look at some scores around the SAC and the football world as we saw regional championships happen last night, and 3 SAC schools took home regional titles as Carroll beat Lafayette Jefferson 21-20, Snyder beat Mishawaka 41-27, and Bishop Luers easily took care of business against Bluffton, winning 35-6, and now all of them will move on and play in semi-state on Friday, November 11th.
These were the only 3 SAC teams remaining in the postseason, and all 3 took care of business. Carroll with the toughest task, arguably, against Lafayette Jeff, but able to pull away in a narrow victory. Now they're going to be back home against Hamilton Southeastern, the team that we saw the Spartans play in their sectional matchup, and Spartans did not fare too well, so we'll see if the Chargers can do better. Snyder able to face some adversity in that first half, but then turn it around in the second half and get a big win to continue on to semi-state. And then you mentioned it, Lures, just easy game there for them, and they're going to be going on the road in semi-state.
Yeah, and it's just been a great postseason overall for the SAC football. Some may have considered this to be a bit of a down year for the SAC, but how this conference has played in the postseason certainly seems to be quite the opposite, as they are going to see 3 teams play in the semi-state championships, and just 2 games now away from state titles are all 3 of these squads from the SAC. And now, do you have any final thoughts and just keys to the second half to close out this OPS halftime report?
The Spartans just need to continue to find their rhythm. I think we're going to see more and more of those younger players play in the second half if they're able to increase the lead in this one. So they just need to be able to hit their shots. They struggled in the first half, only shooting 37% overall and just 27% from 3. But if they can improve that the second half, play some better defense, Coach Parker is going to be happy with the outcome of this one.
Yeah, they certainly need to have a lot of adjustments, the Generals do, in the second half to try and come back in this one, trailing by 20 points. And we talked about it a whole lot. They certainly are going to have to control the defensive glass, as the Spartans have had way too many second chance opportunities in this one.
They've had at least 8 offensive rebounds in this one, the Spartans have, and that's where they've been able to capitalize. So Generals coming out of half need to box out and then find their rhythm again on the offensive side. They were disrupted by the traps that the Spartans were bringing on the defensive side. So if they can figure out a way to get through those, and Amelia Diaz continue to score. She's got 8 so far in this one, but if she can get up to double digits and maybe to 20 pointers, she's going to have a chance to bring her team back in this one.
Yeah, and we talked a lot about in the pregame show how the Homestead Spartans, so far on the season, it kind of seems like their lack of size, or just as not as big as they were last year, and not being able to rebound as well as in previous seasons may be a factor, but tonight, or this afternoon, it has certainly been just completely the opposite, as we've been talking about that dominance on the glass. And overall, the Wayne Generals, they're just going to be looking to get something going offensively. You were talking about Amelia Diaz, the leading scorer from last season, had a pretty big first half and needs to also step up in that second half. Overall, just what do you think the Wayne Generals need to do in this second half?
I just really think it's going to be box out and playing cleaner offensively. 9 turnovers in that first half. We know the Spartans force a lot of turnovers, but if they can clean that up and then not allow second chance points, they're going to have a chance to get back in this one.
And they certainly need to stop those second chance opportunities, as we are now going to be taking a quick break, but we'll be back with second half action of Homestead versus Wayne.
Southwest Allen County Schools is our home. Home to dedicated staff, passionate teachers, and a generous community that values and supports education. We believe our culture of learning embraces change, flexibility, and innovation. We believe our schools serve as the hub of our diverse community. We value hard work, attention to craft, and tenacity. We ask questions, share ideas, and work together to find new ways to do new things, great things, for our students, for our district, and for our community. In partnership with parents, we believe learning encompasses critical thinking, creative thinking, collaboration, communication, citizenship, and resiliency. We take pride in our successes and share in our accomplishments. We are Southwest Allen County Schools, preparing today's learners for tomorrow's opportunities.
And now welcome back to Spartan Arena as the Homestead Spartans hold a 20-point lead at the break, and now we are just moments away from the start of this second half as the Homestead Spartans will be starting with possession.
And Spartans bringing out their starting five once again. We haven't seen them play as much as a group as we usually do, so we'll see how they do here to start the second half.
Epps takes the inbound to start off this second half and now has it in that right corner. Driving inside, cannot get that one to go. That looked to be tipped as Stevens, yet another second chance opportunity, puts it up and is fouled and will once again go to the free throw line.
Fourth time now going to the line, currently 5 of 6 from the line. And now she makes it 6 of 7. That's where she's been able to get most of her points as she's up to 12 points now.
And her second free throw is up and in as well. So that now extends the lead up to 22 for the Homestead Spartans. As Hill will now take it across the timeline here for the Generals. Gives it over to Diaz, guarded by Epps on that right side. Now over to Hill. Finds herself with a little bit of space. Puts up a shot, no good. Rebound brought in by the Generals as Harrison puts it right back up. And it's tipped out of bounds by the Homestead Spartans. Generals, they keep possession.
Good job there by the Generals to stay in that possession and get another chance there after the missed three-pointer.
Now Gorman sends it out to Hill, right on the Sparty logo, guarded by Bottoms. Gets a screen from Collins, and then throws it over to Collins, and it's stolen away by Epps. Now in transition, a Euro step layup drops in. Maya Epps. The freshman guard does not look like a freshman out there, just in control. As Anaya Hill drives inside, attacking, and a blocking foul will be called on Evie Bottoms on the floor. That is going to be the first team foul for the Spartans.
Epps able to show off her skills there with the Euro step. She looked like she's going to go left the whole way, and then last second uses the Euro to get back to her right hand and finish on the fast break. And then on the other side, Hill doing a good job at attacking and getting a foul on Evie Bottoms.
Now Gorman takes the inbound for the Generals here. Attacking the basket, kicks it out to Luna. Now it's Gorman. Throws it down low. Ball tipped around. O'Quinn puts it up, and it cannot go. Rebound brought in by Epps of the Spartans. Now down low to Stevens. Puts up a shot. No good. Rebound brought in by O'Quinn. Now Gorman. Speeding up the pace a little bit here for the Generals. Gives it over to Diaz, left corner. Now back out to Gorman, top of the key. Taking their time now. Gives it down to O'Quinn. Puts up a hook shot, no good. Rebounded by Bottoms of the Spartans. Then throws a dangerous pass that just sails right out of bounds. Generals get possession right back.
Just need to slow it down there. No reason to push the pace as much and throw that dangerous pass there. And Spartans are going to just not get it there.
That shot by Luna is long as the rebound is fought for, and a foul is going to be called that time on O'Quinn. Now the Spartans pushing the pace. Stock finds herself wide open for a three and cashes it in. You cannot leave Molly Stock open or she will make you pay like that right there as the Spartans lead just continues to grow.
Stock's second three of this one. She's done really well on the defensive side, and then Evie Bottoms doing well on the defensive side. You see Epps with the court awareness to find Stock wide open, and Stock just gets to her spot and knocks down the three.
A great start to the second half for the Homestead Spartans, which forces Coach Lacia Gorman to call a timeout as the Homestead Spartans lead by 27 with 5:45 left in this third quarter. now welcome back to Spartan Arena as the Spartans have a 27-point lead right now here in this third quarter. As Royce has it, top of the key, gives it down low to Epps. Posting up on Diaz, puts up a shot, and once again, Epps draws the foul. Maya Epps has been just great so far this season, just attacking the basket and drawing fouls at the rim.
And that's what she's been best at, being aggressive and getting herself to the line. And then, for the most part, been able to capitalize on those free throws, and that's where she's been able to get most of her points.
Second free throw attempt, no good. Rebound brought in that time by Michaela Johnson of the Generals. And now an errant pass there just sails out of bounds. We've seen a couple of those so far in this game. Just some early season miscommunication for each of these teams.
Generals still yet to score so far in this half. Right now, Evie's wide open for three, and Epps once again with awareness. That time, Bottoms wasn't able to knock it down, but Epps doing a good job of catching the Generals off guard.
As Luna puts up that floater, cannot get it to go. Now Stevens, a full court pass to Royce, puts up a layup, no good, but another offensive rebound for the Homestead Spartans, that time by Stock. Stevens puts up a deep three, no good. Rebound now brought in by Bottoms. Now Stock, a three-pointer of her own, no good. Rebound brought in by the Generals. Gorman now across the timeline on that left side. Guarded by Royce. Ball's tipped and stolen away by Maya Epps. Freshman guard in transition. Attacking the basket, puts up the layup, drops it in, plus the foul, and one for Maya Epps.
Epps, once again, offensively and defensively, she can just create her own shot every time and able to knock it down in contact there. Great job there.
Free throw attempt, no good. Rebound brought in by Stevens, though, and then another offensive rebound by Royce this time. Now to Stevens, attacking the basket, puts it up, and it's blocked by Tania Harrison, who then recovers it herself and gives it over to Gorman. Generals now across the timeline. Attacking. Spartans double team. The ball is tipped away, and then Tania Harrison gets it back. Now Luna, a mid-range jump shot, cashes in for the Generals. Cuts the lead back down to 28.
First points of the half there for the Generals. A 10-0 run to start the half by the Spartans.
Now Stock finds herself open for three and bangs a Molly Stock. 31-point lead now for the Homestead Spartans. As Mariah Luna has it top of the key. Over to Diaz. Puts up a floater. Cannot get that one to go. Looked like she tried to bank that one in as there's a fight for the rebound, and a foul will end up being called. That's going to be on Evie Bottoms, and the Generals will keep possession.
Once again, you cannot leave Molly Stock wide open. As now Stock is going to come out, and once again, a younger lineup in here. Royce being the oldest player as a junior. 2 sophomores in there and 2 freshmen.
So now it's going to be Sydney Gorman to send it in here for the Wayne Generals. As she sends it into Collins. Now top of the key, sends it over, left side over to Hill. Hill picked up by Freen. Now over to Harrison, driving right baseline. Kicks it out to Gorman. Generals feeling the pressure of the Spartans defense right now. Cannot get it inside as they find a little bit of an open look with Gorman for three. Splash for Sydney Gorman from downtown. Cuts it right back down to 28.
Emma Royce tried to be a little too aggressive there, which left Gorman wide open and finally able to convert on an open shot there for the Generals.
And now that is going to lead to a timeout called by the Homestead Spartans as they currently lead by 28 right here with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. And they really have just been controlling this game throughout now with that 28-point lead.
They started this half really well. Now they slowed down a little bit, only scoring 3 points in the last 2 minutes, whereas they scored 10 straight to open up this half. Now Wayne finally able to get back into their offense a little better, doing better on the defensive end, but with the younger lineup in for the Spartans, they've been struggling compared to the more experienced players. It's what you'd expect, and that's why Coach Parker is going with this lineup here. Get this new unit more playing time, and then also if they can play well together, they'd have more time to give their starters some rest.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for the Spartans here, as Generals currently just have 4 players out on the court. As Tania Harrison's now going to run out and be the 5th General out on the court. And like you were talking about, overall, this is just a great experience for the Homestead Spartans with so much youth currently on the roster, just getting them more varsity playing time. As a sophomore, Sanaya Sandlin puts up the layup there, cannot get it to go. As Gorman now across the timeline for the Generals. And Hill guarded by Helsum. Now Tanny Harrison has it. Gives it over to Khalees Collins. Driving baseline, and she's fouled by Whitney Ankenbrook there. And that's going to be the 3rd team foul on the Homestead Spartans.
And up to that point, this lineup for the Spartans had done pretty well defensively. Just offensively is where they've struggled, but all around this team can play defense.
Now Collins attacking the basket, draws the double team, and it's stripped away. A steal for the Homestead Spartans as Landrigan now going to push the pace at the Sparty logo. Left side over to Brooklyn Freem. Drives inside, gets a wide open lane, and she's fouled and will be shooting 2 free throws.
Brooklyn Freem has looked really solid in this second unit. She has 5 points. Her and Hillsong have the most in the second unit, both with 5, but Freem has been attacking and shooting the 3 ball pretty well.
The first free throw will drop there for Brooklyn Freem, extending the lead out to 29 points. Second free throw, no good, but another offensive rebound, this time for Gabby Helsum. As Landrigan now has it. Gives it over to Brooklyn Freem at the Sparty logo. Now Landrigan once again with it. Over to Sanaya Sandlin. Drives inside, and it's stolen away by Khalees Collins. Now Sydney Gorman across the timeline. Guarded by Landrigan. Right side over to Anaya Hill. Drives inside, puts up a layup, no good. Rebound tipped around and controlled by Gabby Helsum of the Spartans. Spartans leading by 29 here. As Landrigan has it top of the key. Sends it down low to Whitney Ankenbrook, who puts up a layup. Gets it to go, and the foul. Another and one for the Homestead Spartans. This time, it's Whitney Ankenbrook getting it to drop and getting a free throw attempt.
Now the 3 freshmen for the Spartans are up to 20 points as a group. We talked about it in the pregame, but the future looks bright for the Spartans.
Ankenbrook's free throw no good, but an offensive rebound by Sanaya Sandlin puts it right back up and drops it in. 33-point lead for the Homestead Spartans now. And now Gorman has it, a deep 3-pointer, and she knocks down the deep triple for the Wayne Generals, cuts it down to 30.
Gorman starting to heat up now. That's her second 3 of this half, and that's definitely the offense that the Generals need.
Now Ankenbrook tries to answer. No good. Rebound goes out long, and it's hauled in by Hill of the Generals. As Tanny Harrison now across the timeline. Under a minute remains in this third quarter. Another deep 3-point attempt for Gorman. That one's short. Rebound brought in by Sandlin. Pass just goes out of bounds. Just another miscommunication there, and another turnover, as we're going to get another look at this deep Gorman 3-pointer here on the replay. She was well beyond the 3-point line, but cashed that one in from deep range.
She tried hitting another one on this possession, but wasn't able to, but they get the ball back anyways.
Now Quinn attempted that layup as the Spartans brought in the rebound. 20 seconds remain in this third quarter. Brooklyn Freem shoots a 3-pointer top of the key. No good. Rebound tipped around. Still not controlled by anyone. Goes out of bounds off of the Spartans. Generals take possession. 12 seconds remain in the third.
Gotta expect this is gonna be the last possession here for the Generals now. We may see another deep three by Gorman.
Now Hill gives it over left side to Tanny Harrison. Now a deep three for Gorman. That one's short. Rebound tipped around, and the buzzer sounds. That will bring us to the end of this third quarter as the Homestead Spartans lead by 30.
You, too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits.
And now welcome back to Spartan Arena as the fourth quarter now starts with a Homestead 30-point lead as Maya Epps is fouled there. That time by Tanny Hairston. As Emma Royce will be inbounding for the Homestead Spartans as the Generals apply a full court pressure. As that is going to be the 7th team foul on the Generals, so Epps will be shooting a 1-and-1.
This is exactly where the Spartans want to be, just able to get more and more attempts here for the freshman at the line. You know she gets so many already, but able to improve her percentage from there.
The first free throw is good there from Maya Epps. Lead now up to 31 points for the Homestead Spartans. Second free throw, good as well. Now a 32-point lead for the Homestead Spartans as they have just been dominating throughout this ball game. As Hill now takes it across the timeline. Drives in, gives it over to O'Quinn as a traveling violation is called. We saw a whole lot of those early on in the first half. Not much since, but one right there again for the Generals. They've struggled with turnovers all afternoon.
They're able to clean it up relative to that first quarter, but they've had 9 since. They had 6 in the first quarter, doing a little bit better of a job.
And now a turnover this time for the Spartans as Harrison goes out in transition and gets it to fall. 30-point Spartan lead now as Royce pushing the pace a little bit for Spartans as Stock now has it. Gives it out to Epps, just standing on the Sparty logo. Left side over to Stevens. Back down low over to Stevens. Her shot attempt is blocked by Harrison. And this possession will stay with the Homestead Spartans as we went off of Harrison out of bounds.
So well-run play there that we've seen a few times to get Stevens open down low, but Harrison doing a better job on the defensive end to deny her.
Now Stock on the attack is fouled on that shot attempt. He'll be going to the free throw line to shoot 2 free throws.
Stock's only points in this one has come from the three-point line, and she's hit 3 threes in this one, but now she has a chance to get to double digits, and she does there. But overall, a good game by her and Stevens, 2 of the seniors on this roster, both into double digits now.
Overall, we've just seen both the experience for the Spartans and the youth come up big with some big plays throughout this entire ball game. As Stock's second free throw attempt is good as well. And now Gorman takes the inbound for the Wayne Generals. Sends it left side over to Harrison. Guarded by Stevens. Now Diaz has it. Gives it over to Tania Harrison, who loses control of the ball, but that is going to be a foul called on the Homestead Spartans, this time on Molly Stock. Just the 4th team foul on the Homestead Spartans, so the Generals will be inbounding.
Spartans done a better job of playing a cleaner game in this half compared to the first half. In that first half, Generals were eventually able to get into the bonus.
Now Epps steals the inbound out in transition, gets the easy lay-in, and extends the lead even more for the Homestead Spartans, now up to 34.
And Epps is now the leading scorer for the Spartans with 15 points. Her and Stevens both had 13, but after that fast break there, she's able to get ahead.
As Hill gets that layup attempted dropped, cuts it right back down to 32. Spartans the Generals still applying a full court pressure here as Bottoms has it at the logo. Now Royce attacks the basket and drops in the lay-in off the glass. Nice attack of the basket that time by Emma Royce.
And Royce doesn't score much. She's up to 4 points there, but on the defensive side, she does really well. That time she got one made in her face there by Gorman, who's been heating it up once again. But Royce has 9 boards in this one. She has more of those effort plays for the Spartans.
Now Epps driving in for the Spartans. Cannot get the layup to fall, but once again draws the foul and be shooting 2. And yet another look at this deep three-pointer from Gorman, who's really been heating up in this second half for the Generals.
A year ago, she averaged 8.8 points. She's got 9 in this one, all off of threes. She's had a much better half, though, here in the first one.
First free throw almost went in 2 times, but then fell off for Maya Epps. Now the second free throw attempt up. It rolls all around the rim and drops in for Maya Epps that time. A 32-point lead now for Sparty. Hill now across the timeline. Pulls up with a mid-range jump shot. No good. Rebound goes out long and out of bounds off of the Generals. So now the Homestead Spartans, and actually they're going to be calling a foul on that one on Tanny Harrison. So that's going to be sending Emma Royce to the free throw line. This is going to be a 1-and-1 as that is the 9th team foul on the Wayne Generals. First free throw is up and in. Spartans just continue to extend this lead as it now is up to 34 points with 5 minutes remaining in the ball game. As Anaya Hill gives it over right side to Diaz, guarded by Epps. Angling into the basket, puts up a floater, and she's fouled. And she herself will be going to the charity stripe. We saw a lot of production from Diaz early on in that first half, but in the second half, we haven't seen much from Amelia Diaz.
She hasn't scored yet in the second half. Now she'll have 2 chances to do so, but this team has scored same amount of points now as they did in that first half. Diaz has a chance to get up to double digits here with this next attempt. But for the Spartans, you're up 33 right now. You wonder how much longer are the starters going to stay in there.
With that second free throw going in for Diaz, she's up to double digits, and the lead for the Spartans is cut down to 32. As Epps going to send it over to Stock on the left wing. And then the ball's kicked by the Generals, and it's going to be a kickball violation. Spartans keep possession here. And it is a bit of a surprise to still see the entire starting lineup out there for the Spartans, as we saw so much of the bench come out early on in that third quarter. As Royce is going to take a 3-point attempt. That one's long. Rebound brought in by the Generals, and then it's stolen away by Royce and Bottoms, and then the Generals try and get it right back as a jump ball is going to be called. Possession arrow favors Sparty, so it is going to be going right back to the Spartans.
And here come 2 of the other seniors now for the Spartans, Hillary Adams and Sid Freem coming in. So now the older lineup here for the Spartans, 5 seniors in.
Yeah, there's just 5 seniors on this roster, all 5 of them on the court right now for Homestead. With 4:30 left in this fourth quarter. As Stock has it in the right wing, drives into the mid-range, pulls up for a jump shot, no good. Rebound brought in by Hill of the Generals. Now across the timeline herself. Left side over to Diaz, a deep three-pointer, no good. Rebound brought in by Sid Freem of the Spartans. Now over to Stock and another steal. This time Diaz has it. Now over to Harrison, who drives in, doesn't get it a fall. Rebound brought in by the Generals. Out to Gorman. A three-pointer splashes in for Sydney Gorman. She's really heated up in this second half. Now 4 3-pointers for the Generals. As Stock has it in the right corner. Now over to Sid Freem down low, who puts up a layup. No good. Ball's tipped out of bounds and will go to the Spartans, as Sid Freem was the last one to touch that one. And now 2 more starters for the Spartans check out, and Evie Bottoms is the last remaining starter on the court for the Spartans as they lead this one by 29 points. Hill gives it over to the right wing to Diaz. Now down low to Harrison, back out to Hill. A three-pointer won't go. Rebound tipped out of bounds by the Generals. Spartans get possession right back with 3:30 left in this game.
Now that last starter, like you were talking about, comes out. Evie Bottom out for Sandlin now coming in and bringing up the ball is the last freshman here for the Spartans. Carly Mullering coming in, another one of those great freshmen on the team.
Yeah, Mullering, first varsity minutes here now, as Sandlin has it top of the key. Left side over to Adams. Ball's tipped and stolen away by the Generals. Now in transition is Harrison. Goes out to the corner. Now it's trapped along the baseline, just throws it up top of the key to Hill. Now in the corner, Diaz, jab, step, shot attempt, no good. Rebound brought in by Sandlin of the Spartans. Now in transition, Sid Freem puts up a layup, no good. Rebound brought in by Brooklyn Freem, who gets her own attempt, and that one's no good as well. And now Hill, moving it for the Generals, puts up a layup. That doesn't fall either. Now the Spartans control possession.
Both these teams have been going pretty fast in these last few possessions. Just need to slow it down here on both sides and settle in to your offense.
Maybe showing a bit of inexperience in this lineup for the Homestead Spartans now, just trying to speed it up when it's really not necessary. As Adams is going to be sending it in for the Spartans here, as the Generals have some substitutions. Adams now to send it in. Gives it over to Freem, who just tries to pass it right back to Adams, but Adams no longer there. So out of bounds. Another turnover here. So that has been quite the storyline so far for each of these teams this afternoon.
And it's what you'd expect with some more inexperienced lineups, just lineups that we haven't really seen too much over the past few years, especially with younger players and sophomores and freshmen out there. And then once again, another travel there by the Generals. They had looked better in the second half with travels, as they struggled with that early on. But both these teams, especially Spartans, just need to try to settle into their lineup here.
Now Carly Mullering, the freshman, pressured full court. Adams, the outlet pass now across the timeline. Now Mullering has it right on the Sparty's nose. Right side over to Sid Freem. Now Adams drives in, a scoop and score layup that time. Drops in, and now that's a 31-point Spartan lead with under 2 left in the game. Now driving inside is Luna, who gets that to fall, plus the foul, and one there for Mariah Luna on the attack.
Right here, as you see on the replay, Hillary Adams showing her experience and able to drive in with some people there for the Generals in her way, but able to get it to fall.
And Luna's free throw attempt, no good. Rebound controlled by the Spartans as Adams pushes the pace. Now gives it to Sandlin, top of the key. Now Mullering has it. Picks up her dribble. Now Adams gives it over to Freem left side. Adams with a backdoor cut. Now Sandlin attacking the basket, puts up a layup, cannot get it to go, and is rebounded by Mariah Luna. 1 minute remain in this fourth quarter. Driving to right side, puts up a layup and drops it in off the glass. Cuts it down to just 27 as a minute remains in the game. Adams now across the timeline, left side over to Mullering. Now Sandlin has it. Right side over to Freem. Now down low to Sid Freem. Puts up the layup and drops it in. That's going to be a 29-point lead now for the Homestead Spartans as we get a substitution timeout. As Ankenbrook, Helsum, and Landrigan check in for the Homestead Spartans.
Luna right now has been looking really good for the Generals. You'd think that they try to get it to her again and have her attack.
Now Hill puts up a shot attempt, no good. Rebounded by Sid Freem of the Spartans. As there's now just seconds remaining in this game. Homestead leading by 29. Adams has it right side. Out to Landrigan. Now Helsum top of the key, driving right side. Puts up a shot, no good. Rebound tipped around, out of bounds, off of the Generals. Spartans will keep possession. 20 seconds left in the game.
They might try to go for one more shot here, but if they get it down with about 10 seconds left, you'd expect them to just hold it for the rest of the time.
And coming up shortly with just seconds remaining in this game, the OPS postgame report. As Whitney Ankenbrook puts up a three-point attempt. That one's short, no good. Rebound brought in by Hill of the Generals. Now it's going to be Johnson attacking the basket. Gets that one to drop, and that's going to end this ball game. 69-42. The Homestead Spartans win this ball game, as we are now going to be entering the OPS post-game report, as Homestead just completely dominated this ball game all throughout.
They definitely did. A little bit of a sloppy game there overall for the Spartans. They were able to clean some of it up in the second half and able to get a big win.
It was a big win for the Homestead Spartans for sure, just controlling throughout this entire game, as we are now going to be sending it down to sideline reporter Braxton Hall, who's with My Apps.
All right, I'm here with My Apps, and big win today over Wayne to move to 1-0 in the conference. How were you guys able to get it done?
I think really during our practices and stuff, we've really been working on, getting our offenses run correctly and getting our spots right and stuff like that, and definitely working on defense too, since we kind of have a shorter team.
So talk about coming in as a freshman and taking over. How has the transition from middle school to high school been for you?
It's definitely been huge, and I think the summertime helped me a lot with travel basketball because of playing up and stuff. But it's definitely a bigger change. A lot of the girls are stronger than I am, and maybe a little bit bigger than I am too. But I think it's going good so far.
This year, Spartans have been going 12 deep. Is your depth this year the team's biggest?
I think, definitely one of our biggest strengths is being able to, pick anybody off the bench, and they're going to be able to come in and contribute to our game. Definitely one of the biggest things,
You guys have two big games against Norwell and Concordia coming up this week. What do you guys need to improve on before that?
I think we just need to work on communicating better. Communicating is definitely one of the biggest things, and maybe our defensive transitions too are one of the biggest things. But I think if we work on those, then we can really pull those out. And
thanks for the time, and congrats on the win. Back to you, Noah.
And thank you, Braxton. And with that, we will now be taking a quick break, but we will be back with the rest of the OPS postgame report. And welcome back to Spartan Arena, as the Homestead Spartans just beat the Wayne Generals 69-42 in this ball game. Homestead just controlled throughout, improves to 3-0 on the season, and the Wayne Generals fall to 3-0-3 so far on the season. And just overall, it was a great effort from each of these squads. The Homestead Spartans just dominating this one, and we're just going to be taking a quick look at the final stats from this ball game, as Homestead really just able to control throughout, and the offensive rebounds really a key storyline, along with the differential and turnovers.
It really was. Spartans still struggled from behind the arc, and overall but they, like you mentioned, the offensive rebounds is where they are able to control the game. 43 rebounds in the game compared to 25. You see a big difference there. And then turnovers, Wayne had twice as many as Homestead. Just overall, Homestead did really well to spread the ball out. 3 players in double digits, led by Maya Epps with 16, but 2 seniors, Stock and Stevens, both in double digits as well. So seeing a lot of scoring by different players on this team.
Yeah, the Homestead Spartans able to out-rebound the Generals by 18 rebounds, and then also the Wayne Generals having double the amount of turnovers the Spartans had in this game. That's really the key difference in this ball game, as the Spartans were just able to control this one and ease to victory, just dominating the entire second half.
They were dominating, and Coach Parker talked about how they needed to clean it up. They struggled as well in the second half there. They only outscored Wayne by 7 points, whereas they were up by 20 at halftime. Wayne able to score better, so defense definitely needs to improve for the Spartans, but overall it was a pretty easy game for them.
Yeah, and the Homestead Spartans able to just dominate this one. And now we're going to take a look at the next game for the Homestead Spartans, as they will be facing off against the Norwell Knights. It's going to be the first matchup since 2018-2019.
And you see all those sectional titles between these two teams, the two great coaches on both sides, and it's going to be a really fun one to see these two teams finally going back at it for the first time in 4 years. Both teams solid. Homestead just going to look to continue their streak here, starting off well, 1-0 in the new gym.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch that one on Tuesday. And Noah, do you have any final thoughts to close out this OPS postgame report?
Well, I think obviously with what we saw today, the Spartans are in good hands for the future, as well as Maya Epps being that main player there offensively in this one, just continuing her dominance as a freshman. So they're going to be in good hands for years to come.
And on behalf of the entire Homestead Live crew, including sideline reporter Braxton Hall, producer Trevor Newhouse, switcher Nada DeHook, our camera operators, and color commentator Noah Lancz, I'm Noah Johanningsmeier, saying so long from Spartan Arena. This has been a presentation of Spartan Basketball on Homestead Live. Have a great rest of your weekend.